I'm Davy. I'm awesome. Welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies I love, the alternative, B-rated, cold style flicks. And being that it's October, I love Universal monster movies. Let's continue the trend. This one came out in 1932, and it was directed by James Whale, written by Ben W. Levy, R.C. Sheriff, and based on Benighted by J.B. Priestley. Produced by Carl Lammel Jr., and made and distributed by Universal Pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, The Old Dark House. The movie opens with three people in the rain in a car, and it's pouring out. It's flooding. They are struggling to get through this mountainside alive.
Do you happen to have any idea where we are?
I haven't the least idea in the world.
Even back then, they didn't realize that wasn't helping. That woman, nagging her husband Philip, is Margaret, played by Gloria Stewart, whom most of us would remember as Old Rose in Titanic. As they constantly get stuck and unstuck, getting through flooding and mudslides and whatnot, they finally see an old dark house. Oh! They decide they have to stop. They can't keep going. When they knock on the door, they are answered by Morgan, a mute servant played by Boris Karloff. This was right after Frankenstein, so he was now officially famous. Philip, Margaret, and their other passenger, Pendrell, go inside, and they meet Horace, who is not there to tell them that the Wolfman has nards, but is actually there to invite them in and have them sit.
My sister was on the point of arranging these flowers.
Well, your sister must love you. Speaking of his sister Rebecca...
What is it? What do they want?
They wanted those flowers arranged. Horace. Rebecca says no to them staying the night. But they say they don't have a choice. They need shelter. They'll die outside.
We've got to go. You hear? We've got to go.
You're afraid, Horace. You're afraid, aren't you?
I think he's already made that clear. All the sniveling and whatnot. Rebecca takes Margaret to another room so that she can change out of her wet clothes, and then starts going into her late wicked sister Rachel, who is now dead because she was wicked. But her father, who is 102, he's still alive, and he's wicked.
You're wicked too. Young and handsome, silly and wicked.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
That's finer stuff still, but it'll rot too in time.
Don't! How dare you!
There.
You must have thought I was a long time.
Matter of fact, I thought you were quicker than usual.
Okay, so clearly Margaret and Philip have been married for quite a while. Now to dinner. As they're eating...
There's someone outside.
How astute. It's a couple. Gladys Perkins, who mostly goes by Perkins, and Sir William Porterhouse, who throughout this movie goes by Bill or Porterhouse. I like the name Porterhouse. Makes me hungry. Porterhouse goes to join him at dinner, but he's very loud and obnoxious.
Have a potato.
That'll shut him up. Although it is English food, so I wouldn't. After dinner, we find they've been talking for a couple of hours. Some of them don't seem to really like each other very much. And then Rebecca comes in with news about Morgan.
He's in the kitchen now, drunk. Quite drunk.
And apparently he's a mean drunk. That would explain all the scars on his face. But in the midst of this, Perkins and Pendrell seem to be hitting it off. Even though she's there with Porterhouse. Don't know why you'd want a Pendrell when you've got a big juicy Porterhouse right there. Meanwhile, inside, it's getting dark. Rebecca says they need a lamp from upstairs. Horace needs to go get it, but he's too afraid. So he asks Philip to go with him. Apparently this big, dark, scary house, he needs his hand held. Philip does go up there with him. Halfway, and tell Horace. Just makes it very clear he doesn't want to. So he asks Philip to go get it for him, tell him where it is, and he agrees.
Thank you.
Because Horace is a bitch! Rebecca comes in complaining about the rain getting into her room because of her open window.
You opened it, you can shut it.
That's all right, Miss Firma. I'll come and shut it.
Jeez, you guys are really useless. Margaret goes and finds a way to amuse herself. Shadow puppets? What are you, like 8? Oh god, I was attacked by shadow puppets. It was awful. It was like that movie Killer Clowns, except the shadow wasn't real. It was just a ruse from some neighborhood kids, trying to distract me while they pulled my pants down and shoved acorns up my tuchus. Those were bad times. They called me Squirrel Trap. How did you get here? Oh, your brother Josh decided to let me in. All I had to do was give him some fruitcake.
Fruitcake. I love fruitcake. Num 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 num.
I should have known. You and your fruitcake. What the hell was that? Not only is she afraid of creepy Rebecca, but also drunk Morgan. Luckily, William is back from upstairs.
Get back!
Unluckily, he's not that tough. Dude, you spent like 20 minutes of this movie getting that lamp. Now that Morgan is unconscious, Philip tells Margaret that he heard a voice upstairs, coming from a room, and he needs to check it out.
You'll have to come with me. I'm not going to leave you alone again.
He'll be fine. He's gonna have a really bad headache. Over to Perkins and Pendrell. They are really hitting it off. And because they're hitting it off so well, they decide to go inside and talk to Porterhouse.
I've fallen in love, Bill.
That was quick.
I think you're a lunatic, but I'm not angry.
He doesn't care that much. He's rich. He'll get someone else. Because where there's a Porterhouse, there's always a potato. Perkins leaves and Pendrell speaks to Porterhouse, telling him, of course, that he does not have a cent to his name, but he loves Perkins, and he's going to ask her to marry him in the morning.
Will you come to the wedding?
And will you also pay for it? Over to Margaret and Philip. They have found the room of the voice that he was hearing. It's Rebecca and Horace's father, Sir Roderick Fenn, played by a female. Then again, they had to find somebody who could play a 102-year-old. He tells them of this house and how it's cursed, how he's had 2 children die by the age of 20.
And then other things happened.
You go into that story and you end it with, and then other things happen. That's the equivalent of, yada yada yada, this place is evil. They say this evil has to be Morgan, but Sir Roderick says it isn't. It's actually his eldest son.
They didn't tell you about Saul.
Saul is basically their personal prisoner. They keep him locked up in his room from the outside. But Sir Roderick is worried because if Morgan goes mad, maybe drunk,
I think he might open the door.
and you better worry about that because after that strike to the head with the lamp, he is pissed. Philip runs down and sees Morgan's gone. You are screwed.
He's going to let Saul out. Wait for him downstairs and kill him.
Then Horace goes to hide in his room. Because like we said, he's a
Bitch!
They all gather downstairs as Morgan comes down with Saul.
Take him back, Morgan! You hear me? Take him back!
Seriously, Morgan? The guy wants to set fire to the house. And we know how you feel about fire. Instead, Morgan attacks!
Take him in the kitchen!
Yes, he'll settle down once he gets a snack. While Philip and Porterhouse deal with Morgan, Pendrell hides the ladies in a closet to get ready for Saul. Saul comes down, but pleads with Pendrell. He's not mad. They've locked him in his room for so long because they know that he knows. They killed his sister Rachel.
But I wouldn't tell. I promised I'd never tell.
You just did. Pendrell believes him, so he tries to leave to go help with Morgan.
I want to tell you a story.
Does it involve a princess? Of course, Pendrell immediately senses something's wrong here. This guy is a little... well, Saul himself can sense that Pendrell is a smart man.
That is why you understood so quickly that I wanted to kill you.
Man, if there was one time they shouldn't have called him. Saul goes about attacking Pendrell and doing what he's wanted to do for years, which is setting the place on fire. As he's trying to do this, Pendrell gets up, clearly hurt, but goes up to the balcony where he is to fight him off, to the point that they fall off the balcony. Kind of a nasty fall. Just then, Morgan breaks through the door. Morgan lets the girls out, seemingly to do something sinister, but then notices that his friend Saul is dead, and he's sad. Apparently that was his little buddy. But what about Pendrell?
He's alive!
Alive! Sorry. Wrong movie. James Whale movie, though. Now, it's morning.
Good morning.
Trust you slept well. Philip and Margaret say they're going for an ambulance for Pendrell. They obviously don't have a telephone. And ask Porterhouse to stay with Pendrell.
Don't be long.
Take your time. He should be dead by now anyway.
Goodbye. So happy to have met you.
Oh, do come again. But Pendrell, despite the head injury, is awake.
Perkins, will you marry me?
And help me feed myself for the rest of my life, because, brain injury. So there you have it. That's the classic Universal monster movie, The Old Dark House. Kind of like the last one, I don't get where this is like a monster. Like, there was a crazy person, but I wouldn't say he was a monster. The character of Morgan was definitely a brute, but not a monster. But it's listed in the Universal Monster Movie Collection. A few years ago, when I set out to do these Universal Monster movies, I saw the list and, of course, checked it out. Whereas, like the one I reviewed last week, The Murders of Rue Morgue, I don't really look at it as like a monster movie. It's still a damn good film. It had a budget of $250,000, and apparently it performed well in its first week running. But word of mouth actually kind of hurt it, and it didn't perform very well after that. In 1957, Universal lost the rights to The Old Dark House, and the creative work it was based on. So they basically stopped running it, and it became what was considered a lost film for a long time. Until one day, a man named Curtis Harrington, who was a friend of James Whale's, went looking for it, found a negative he could reprint, and we got it back. In its initial run, it got mixed reviews. Some critics liked it, some really didn't. But modern reviews love it. For example, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a score of 97. Before this, the Frankenstein movie, the one that made him famous, his name was not featured on the posters. He was there, but his name wasn't. This one, big, bold, Karloff. Because like I said, even though he wasn't the lead in this movie, he was what they were banking on to get people to watch it because he was now famous. But apparently, once again, James Whale and Boris Karloff didn't see eye to eye on things. Apparently there was some quarreling between the two of them on the set of this film. And because of this, when James Whale did The Invisible Man, it was originally supposed to have Boris Karloff as the Invisible Man, but James Whale was refusing to work with him. So they recasted him with Claude Rains, which I think worked out in the end. I think Claude Rains did so great with that role. I don't think Boris Karloff could have done as good. But eventually they buried the hatchet to work on Bride of Frankenstein. But you could tell these two just had issues. As far as my recommendation for The Old Dark House, I actually do recommend it. If you're a fan of nostalgia, fan of nostalgic movies, it's actually a really good story. I don't see how it was ever scary. In fact, it's only in the very end of the movie that you finally see the villain. And even then, he's like a little dude, not that scary. He's just crazy. But still, the journey getting there was a really good story. It's very compelling. I actually do really enjoy this film. So, on that note, if you have not seen The Old Dark House, which most of you probably haven't, then I recommend you go check out The Old Dark House. So there you have it. That's my movie review this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications for when I post the videos. And leave a comment I can respond to in my next comment corner. If you've seen The Old Dark House, tell me what you thought of it. Love you guys.